Good morning, creative friends. It is Monday, March 1st, 2021, and it is not a pretty morning out there. It is overcast and a little foggy and just kind of yucky, but I can't help feeling excited for a new month because it's going to be spring. In a couple weeks, it's going to be spring. We're going to turn our clocks forward here in the United States, and we're going to have more light every day, more sunlight, and it's going to get warmer. And I think this is the month that we see a significant turn of the season from winter to spring, and it's a beautiful time of year. It's a time of new beginnings. It's a time of fresh starts, especially on the first of a month. So even though I'm feeling a little bit slow this morning, it's not a bad thing. I think taking a little bit of a slower start to the week has been serving me well, and maybe it serves you well. Not everyone enjoys going 0 to 60 first thing in the morning on a Monday on the first of a month. So I want to start today with our creativity pep talk by taking a couple deep breaths like we did last week. I think the more we practice taking deep breaths and breathing and focusing and just taking a moment to calm our minds, and it's only gonna get easier and better to start the week this way by centering ourselves, taking away all the noise in our heads and all the to-do lists and all the stuff that kind of gums up the works. And we're going to just take a minute to breathe and maybe think of something that we're grateful for this morning. Starting the week on a positive note as best we can. It does make a difference, I think. And so we're going to do this every week for the Creativity Pep Talks. We're going to start by breathing, all right? So just take a minute and just take a really big, deep breath. You can close your eyes if you want, or look out the window, or look at something that just fills you with a feeling of peace, all right? It might feel weird to be breathing, watching a YouTube video, but just quiet your mind. If you're not sure what you're grateful for, you can be grateful for anything. You can be grateful for hot coffee. You can be grateful for being able to feel your breath coming in and out of your body. You might be grateful that it's not a sunny day because you have a lot to do, so you feel okay with staying inside and not wanting to go outside and spend all day in beautiful sunlight. And you might just be grateful and thankful that February is over. It's a new month. I know, just mentally, sometimes seeing a new month on the calendar gives you a little boost. That's a good thing. All right, so this morning I'm going to pick a card from my Art Oracle deck, which is so fun. It's a deck full of great artists, and the cards give you a little bit of wisdom, guidance, and inspiration based on the artist that you pick. They talk a little bit about the artist's life, things that they struggled with, things that inspired them. And I like drawing from this deck for our Creativity Pep Talks because it helps keep me a little bit on track. I tend to get a little scatterbrained. But it's also kind of a fun way to start the week with a little bit of playfulness. So I'm going to draw a card. Let's see who we get. All right, who's it going to be? Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm just cracking up because I don't know anything about this artist, so I'm going to read their short blurb. But just the picture itself, I can relate to so hard because this is actually just how I feel today. So I'm drained. We go through these cycles, especially as women, where we experience times of slowness and lower energy, and needing a break. So, all right, Sophie Calle. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right, so I will look that up. Anyways, I'm just going to look up a little information on her. The cards come with this little guide that tells you a little bit about the artist. And then you can read the card and take some inspiration for your life, for your work, and just some inspiration for the day. All right, Sophie was born in France in 1953. Her media included photography, text, video, voyeurism, oversharing, and unlawful invasions of privacy. Yikes. In one of her first projects, The Sleepers, she found 23 people to sleep continuously in her bed in consecutive 8-hour sessions that included them being photographed and interrogated. Oh my goodness. Well, this is a little dark. For The Shadow, she had her mother hire a private detective who surreptitiously followed Sophie, unaware that she was aware. In Address Book, she called strangers from a found address book, asking about its owner and publishing the transcripts as part of an imagined portrait of the man who found out and freaked out. And for her 2007 Venice exhibition, Take Care of Yourself, she asked 107 women to interpret a breakup letter she received. The prosecution rests. All right, this is not what I expected to draw for this morning. I was kind of hoping something with a little bit more lightness to it, but that's why we're doing this, because we never know, we never know what the cards may say. And I haven't read this one yet, so this advice on the card is brand new. All right, The Sleeper. So for life, this is our life guidance for the day. Put on a good show for the surveillance cameras. So I'm feeling two things about that advice. And the first thing is put on a show in life, because you never know who may be watching. You never know who might see something that you've put out there into the world, whether it's you on social media or someone observing you out in the world. So put on a good show. I think we can interpret that however we want, whether it's be a good person, be kind, be generous, or just be mindful that people can be watching and learning and following your example. So that's an interesting thing to think about. And then for a little bit of playfulness, this is just making me laugh because whenever we go to Target, my daughter, who is 8, at the registers, they have those, at the self-checkout, they have those monitors that say that you're being watched. And my daughter loves it because she stands there and she does a little dance and acts out a little mime scene. And I always ask her, I'm like, who do you think is watching? And she just kind of giggles. It's fun for her to be putting on a show, and she doesn't know who might be sitting there watching or not watching. You just never know. But I thought that was maybe an interesting way to think of things as well. Might just want to go through the day being a little playful. All right. So for work, this is a little bit of guidance for your work for the week. Distance makes the heartbreak stronger. Distance makes the heartbreak stronger. So I'm thinking about what we learned about Sophie, that she maybe obsessively asked people to interpret her heartbreak or her breakup letter. Maybe this is about letting go. Maybe this is about things that we hold on to and that we fret about and that we worry about or concern ourselves with. Maybe by letting go, we can find some peace. We can find, a way to move forward. I think we hold on to a lot as humans. We hold on to things that hold us back, maybe without even realizing it. So by letting go, as far as distance making the heartbreak stronger, I also know that for myself personally, I've experienced loss that over time, in some ways it gets easier, but in some ways it gets harder, right? So if you have lost someone or you've experienced some tough times, sometimes the further you get from it, it makes it easier in the day-to-day, like in the grieving process. When a loss is new, it hits you more frequently. But as time goes by, it doesn't hit you as frequently, but it almost hits you harder. So when I am going through a wave of grief, it hurts very intensely. Not for as long, but it does hurt, in a different way than it did a couple years ago. So I think maybe that has something to it as well. If you've experienced grief, whether it's the loss of a parent or a child or a friend, a lot of us have lost people in the past year because of COVID. When you're experiencing that grief, I want to encourage you to feel okay to sit in it. A lot of times we feel like we have to get up and dust ourselves off and move forward, but maybe that's part of it, that sitting and allowing ourselves to feel the sadness, the loneliness, the yearning when we miss someone, whether they're still with us or not, that's a very real feeling. And I think a lot of times we feel uncomfortable feeling sad. We feel uncomfortable feeling, and maybe we don't feel like we can express that sadness and all the complicated feelings that go with grieving or losing or missing someone. So my encouragement for you this week is, okay, it's a year later, coming up on the date when everything kind of shut down and it's been a tumultuous year. So if you're feeling grief over the past year, if you're feeling sadness, maybe just sit with that and do some reflection and know that it's okay to not feel okay all the time. It's okay to not feel happy and cheerful all the time. Life is complicated. We all go through ups and downs, and you're not alone. You're not alone. All right, our last piece of advice from the card is a little inspiration for life. Invade neighboring states of privacy. I'm not quite sure what to take from that. Invade neighboring states of privacy. I think I'm going to interpret this as look out your window and observe the world. I think a lot of us have been looking out the window this past year and watching the world go by. So look around you. Look around you. There's going to be things to observe everywhere you look, whether it's big things or small things. And you can take those things as your inspiration as you go about your day, as you're doing your creative work, as you're writing, as you're painting, as you're doing whatever it is you do that you love. If you're feeling short of inspiration, take a moment and look out the window. See what's going on out there. Look at the sky, look at the trees or the buildings. If someone's walking by, anything that can get your creative thoughts going, get the wheels turning. There's a lot we can learn just looking outside. All right, this was a great little kickstart to the week. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you watched and if there's anything that stuck out to you that was helpful, that's going to help carry you through the week. And I look forward to doing this every Monday morning. You can check back in Monday mornings for Creativity Pep Talks. All right, my beautiful friends, I hope you have a lovely week ahead. I am going to have a couple more videos up this week with some tips and some drawing and painting videos. So stay tuned. Don't forget to hit subscribe below this video. And if you're interested in finding out more about me and my work, I have all the links in the video description. You can check those out. All right, have an awesome week. Thank you for being here. I think you are wonderful. And wherever you are, you're not alone.